Hello, and welcome back to English in Quiet.
If you are on the bus, washing dishes, or pretending your messy desk is a creative system, hi.
And if English still lives in one notebook and not much outside it, we really made this episode for you.
Yes, maybe you know a lot of grammar, but when you need to say, my charger died, your brain just leaves the room.
I know that can feel discouraging, even a little embarrassing, when you have worked hard and the simple sentence still disappears.
So today is for that feeling.
Yes, we want to help your English and your real life at the same time, because language gets stronger when it joins ordinary life.
If this kind of real-life English helps you, you can subscribe and come back to English in Quiet. And if one friend came to mind, you can send this to them later.
This episode is around B1 to B2 level, so you do not need every word today. Stay with the ideas and the examples first.
Yes, no panic, no exam face. Just listen, breathe, and if you want, come back later for another listen.
Let me start with a small scene.
I am already worried.
You study English on Sunday. Your notes are neat. Your vocabulary list looks serious. Then Monday morning comes. The bus is late. Someone asks what happened, and suddenly your whole sentence becomes, sorry, traffic, morning bad.
Meanwhile, in the notebook, you know 3 conditionals and 1 elegant word nobody uses before coffee.
Exactly. That gap matters. A lot of learners know more English than they can actually use in daily life.
So the problem is not always knowledge. Sometimes the problem is location.
Yes, English knows your textbook, but it does not know your life yet.
Ooh, that is good. It knows my highlighter. It does not know my grocery list.
Right. The big idea here is simple. English improves when it stops being only a school subject and becomes a working tool.
A working tool means you use it to do a real job.
Exactly. Not only in perfect study conditions. In short, imperfect, repeated moments.
Slightly tired moments, hair still wet, toast burning a little.
Yes, real life moments.
So not, I will use English naturally one day when I travel and become mysteriously confident.
No. More like, I can use English while I plan dinner, check a train time, read a review, or write a short message.
That already feels more possible.
And you are not the only one if you keep waiting until you feel ready. Many learners do that.
We wait for a native speaker, a perfect opportunity, a better mood, a cleaner room, a sign from the universe.
But readiness often comes from use, not before use.
Oof, yes.
There is a helpful difference here. Study time is when English itself is the subject. Grammar, word lists, corrections.
Pens, tabs, tiny guilt.
Use time is different. You focus on a real task, and English helps you do that task.
Like reading a recipe, checking product reviews, watching a short video before buying headphones, or writing tomorrow's plan.
Yes, or reading directions, looking up health information, writing a short work update, following instructions.
So English is not asking for a performance, it just has a job.
Exactly. And sometimes 10 clear minutes of use time are better than 30 foggy minutes of passive listening.
Foggy is the word. I have done this. Podcast on, brain off, soul elsewhere.
We all have. Purpose matters. If you know why you are listening or reading, the language stays with you better.
So maybe the better question is not, how many hours did I study this week?
Yes.
Maybe it is, What did I actually do in English this week?
That is a much more honest question. Now, how do we make this practical?
Please say something other than, wake up at 5 and become a new person.
Happily. The easiest way is to connect English to routines you already have.
Because motivation is dramatic, but routines are boring. And boring wins.
Honestly, yes. If English depends only on energy or inspiration, it disappears on tired days.
Which is rude, because tired days are most days.
So give English a home. Morning coffee, your commute, lunch break, grocery shopping, evening reset.
Give it a home is such a useful idea. Not floating around like a pretty plan with no address.
Exactly. In the morning, maybe you read a short weather report in English. Maybe you write 3 lines about your day.
Or say, at 10 I have a meeting. At 2 I need to call my dentist. At 7 I will make pasta and hope for emotional stability.
Yes, that is already real English. Time expressions, plans, ordinary verbs.
Evening can be different. One short note. What happened? What was hard? What needs attention tomorrow?
Right. It does not have to be a beautiful diary entry, just clear thought.
I like that, because it sounds possible on a Tuesday, not only on a very spiritual Sunday.
The commute is another strong place for English, but not random audio in the background all the time.
Yes, sometimes we call it practice, but really it is just audio furniture.
Better is one short, clear piece with a goal. First, listen for the main idea.
Second, listen for 2 or 3 useful phrases.
Third, pause and say it again in your own words.
In your own words means you do not copy the exact sentence. You say the same idea in simpler English.
Exactly. That is powerful.
Also, home life is full of English, if you let it be. Cooking, cleaning, exercise, shopping.
Yes, read a recipe in English. Follow workout instructions. Make your list in English. Compare prices in English.
I once kept phone shopping notes in English, and suddenly I was learning battery life. Too bulky. Worth it. Not worth it. User-friendly.
That is such a good example. Real need makes vocabulary stick.
Because now the word is connected to a decision, not just a sad flashcard.
Exactly. Repeated situations help language grow. Breakfast happens again. Messages happen again. Meetings happen again.
Laundry also happens again, against my wishes.
Yes, and repetition is useful because you meet the same language in slightly different forms.
So the sentence gets faster, less dragging, less panic.
Right. You stop building everything from zero every single time.
What if someone listening says, my life is chaotic. I do not have elegant routines.
Then start with one fixed moment, not a whole new life. After brushing your teeth, say 3 sentences in English. After lunch, read one short paragraph. When you sit on the bus, listen for 5 minutes.
Tiny promise.
Yes, tiny promises are easier to keep, and keeping them matters.
Work can count too, right?
Very much. If you work in tech, maybe read one short piece of documentation in English. If you work in marketing, maybe one short article from your field. If you study, maybe keep your task list or your notes in English.
So English joins the life you already have. It does not ask you to build a second life just for it.
Exactly. Now we should talk about input, because the internet gives you too much English, not too little.
A giant buffet. Also a trap.
Yes, not all input helps equally. For B1 and B2 learners, the best daily input is usually clear, relevant, and a little challenging. Not impossible.
Relevant means it connects to your real interests or real needs.
Exactly. If you like cooking, use cooking English. If you care about fitness, use fitness English. If you need work English, use that.
Your brain already knows something about the topic, so it can follow the language more easily.
Yes, and practical reading is especially good. Product pages, FAQ pages, travel guides, company websites, instructions, short articles.
Because that is the English people actually use before buying, booking, fixing, or deciding something.
Right. There is also a useful difference between broad exposure and focused input.
Broad exposure means English is around you in many places.
Yes, that helps you feel the rhythm and the common expressions. Focused input is when you stay with one short piece and really work with it.
One short video, not 19 random ones while your thumb becomes a machine.
Exactly. Watch once for the big idea. Again for useful language. Then explain it yourself.
That last step is where things become alive.
Because many learners understand more than they can say.
Passive vocabulary. My old roommate.
Yes, passive means you recognize a word when you hear or read it. Active means you can actually produce it yourself.
So how do we wake the words up?
One easy way is private speech.
I love this one because it sounds strange and it is genuinely great.
Private speech means talking to yourself in English while you do ordinary things.
Which I already do, except sometimes to my kettle.
That counts. You can describe what you are doing, explain your plan, or talk through a small problem.
Talk through means explain something step by step. Like, okay, the rice is ready, the vegetables are not. I forgot the sauce, but we continue.
Exactly. Or, I am late because the first train stopped, then I missed the second one, and now my whole schedule is a little dramatic.
Very natural English, sadly from experience.
And private speech is low pressure. No audience, no performance fear, but lots of repetition.
Also lots of honesty. You quickly notice the gap, like, why do I not know how to say this very normal thing?
Yes, and those gaps are useful because they come from real life.
Another strong technique here is retelling.
Right. After a short video or article, close it and say the main idea back in simple English.
Retell means say it again, but not word for word.
Yes, you use your own language. This builds flexibility.
I like it because it stops you from depending on the exact original sentence.
Exactly. And then there are language chunks.
Chunks sound like soup, but stay with us.
A chunk is a group of words that often stay together in real speech.
Like, the problem is that, it depends on. One example is, in my experience.
Yes, these chunks help fluency because they come as a little unit.
Fluency means your message keeps moving. Not perfect, moving.
Good. And that leads to an important pair: accuracy and fluency.
Ah, yes, the old fight.
Accuracy is correct grammar and word choice. Fluency is the ability to keep speaking with reasonable speed and clarity.
So if I pause every 4 seconds to build one perfect sentence, I may sound careful, but not very fluent.
Exactly. And if you speak quickly with too many errors, the message may become unclear.
So we need both, just not trained in the same way all the time.
Right. During free speaking, let the message move. Later, review and fix a few repeated mistakes.
That feels kinder, less pressure in the moment.
Much kinder. And one more thing here: pronunciation.
Please tell people they do not need a movie star accent by Friday.
They absolutely do not. The goal is clarity, being understood.
Thank you.
A good tool here is shadowing. You listen to one short sentence and repeat it, paying attention to stress and rhythm.
Not because you want to become that speaker, just because it helps your mouth move more naturally.
Exactly. Use short clips, clear speakers, one sentence at a time.
I used to do this while walking outside. Quietly. I hope quietly.
Good for you. And subtitles can help too, but vary them.
Yes, if subtitles are always on, my ears become lazy little princesses.
So maybe one day you watch with English subtitles and note useful phrases. Another day, you listen first without them, then check later.
Support is there, but it is not carrying your whole life.
Exactly. You reduce dependence slowly. We should talk about writing too, because people often forget how useful it is.
They hear writing and think, wonderful, time for an essay and a small crisis.
But daily writing can be very practical. A shopping list, a short plan, meeting notes, a message draft, a comparison before you choose something.
Like, option A is cheaper, but option B looks more durable. That is real English.
Very real. Writing slows language down. It gives you time to notice patterns and missing words.
It is like putting your thoughts on a table where you can actually see them.
Yes, and there is a difference between expressive writing and functional writing.
Expressive is more personal. Feelings, reflections, that kind of thing.
Right. Functional writing helps you complete a task clearly. For daily life, functional writing is often the better starting point.
Because most of life is not a poem. It is, I will be late. Here is the plan. Can we move the meeting?
Exactly. And journaling can still be useful if you choose one concrete theme.
Not just, today I was tired. Also tired yesterday. The end.
Right. Try one challenge from the day, one decision you made, one useful idea from something you watched.
Digital writing counts too then.
Very much. Comments, emails, search queries, product questions, short posts. Some of those can happen in English.
Small still counts.
Yes, and eventually English has to include other people too.
Ah, the humans.
The humans. But it does not have to start in high-pressure situations.
Thank goodness.
Start low pressure. An online hobby group, a speaking partner, a voice note, a class discussion, a community where the topic matters, not just the language.
Low pressure means the emotional temperature is lower. You can try, make mistakes, keep going.
Exactly. And in professional life, prepare for the repeated situations you actually need.
If you often give updates, practice giving updates. If you often ask questions, practice asking questions.
Yes, work English becomes easier when you practice the real scene, not some random scene.
There is also a helpful point here. Some people have social fluency. Some have task fluency.
Right. Social fluency is small talk, reactions, easy conversation flow. Task fluency is explaining information, asking for clarification, summarizing next steps.
I know people who can explain software beautifully and then panic when someone says, "So, how was your weekend?"
Exactly. And the opposite is true too. Different situations need different standards.
That is important. Ordering lunch, chatting before a meeting, and giving a presentation are not the same skill.
No, they are not. So do not judge every English moment by one scary standard.
Just ask, what kind of English do I need more right now?
Yes, and please learn a few repair phrases.
These are gold.
Repair means you fix the conversation when something goes wrong.
Like, sorry, let me say that again.
What I mean is,
Could you repeat that, please?
I need a second.
How do I say this?
Good. These phrases buy you time.
Buy yourself time means give your brain a few extra seconds so the sentence can arrive.
Exactly. Real conversation is full of repair. Even advanced speakers do it.
So if you stop, restart, and fix a sentence, that is not failure. That is normal speaking.
Before we close, we need one more big idea here. How do you measure progress?
Because if I only count hours, I can make my week sound impressive and still be weirdly stuck.
Yes. Instead of only asking, "How long did I study?" ask, "What can I do now that was hard before?"
That question is so much better.
Maybe now you can follow a short video without subtitles. Maybe you can explain a work problem more clearly. Maybe you can read reviews faster. Maybe you can leave a comment in English without freezing.
That is functional progress, real-life progress.
Exactly. And a small weekly review helps.
Gentle review, not scary review.
Very gentle. Ask, where did I use English this week? What felt easier? What threw me off? What do I need next?
Throw me off means disturb my rhythm. Push me away from what I planned.
Yes, and if mistakes feel more visible now, that does not always mean you are getting worse.
Ooh, important.
Sometimes it means you are using English in more real situations. So, of course, you see more gaps.
Which is actually progress, just not glamorous progress.
Exactly. A strong daily system has 3 parts: exposure, use, and reflection.
Input, action, review.
Yes, read and listen, speak and write. Then notice what happened.
That is how English moves from textbook energy to life energy.
Beautifully said.
Thank you. I was briefly wise.
Okay, I think it is time for our word tour.
Yes. Cups down, shoulders soft, little word tour.
First, working tool. If something is a working tool, you use it for a real job. English as a working tool means you use it to plan, search, ask, read, or explain.
Not just to stare at grammar and whisper, one day.
Next, show up. Show up means be there and do the thing, even in a small way. I was tired, but I still showed up for 10 minutes of English.
Use that one. It is warm and strong.
On autopilot. That means you are doing something automatically, without much thought. I opened my phone on autopilot.
Very common, very human.
Talk yourself through it. That means explain something to yourself step by step. I cooked dinner and talked myself through the recipe in English.
I really like that one. It sounds alive.
Retell. Retell means say the same story or idea again in your own words.
For example, I watched a short video. Then I retold it in simple English.
In your own words. This means not copying the exact sentence. You say the idea the way you can say it.
Borrow this phrase. Teachers love it. Life loves it.
Language chunk. A chunk is a group of words that often stay together, like the problem is that, or it depends on.
Chunks help you speak faster because they come as a little team.
Buy yourself time. That means create a few extra seconds to think. What I mean is, can buy you time.
Also, let me say that again. Beautiful little rescue phrase.
Get back on track. That means return to your plan after you drift away. I missed 2 days. Then I got back on track.
Important one, because adult life is messy.
And last, small still counts. That one is simple and important. A short note, 1 voice message, 5 minutes of listening. Small still counts.
Please keep that line. It saves people from the all-or-nothing mood.
So here is your tiny homework. Choose 1 routine you already have and put 1 small English action inside it.
1, not 9. This is not the moment to reinvent your entire personality before dinner.
Exactly. Maybe 1 short article with coffee. Maybe 3 spoken sentences while you cook. Maybe 1 short work note in English.
And then, say one sentence out loud about it. Just one. Let English leave the page.
If you want, tell us in the comments. What is one ordinary moment where English can move into your life this week?
Make it specific. The bus? The shower? Your slightly dramatic grocery list? Your lunch break with one lonely sandwich?
The comments are a real place to practice English, and your idea may help another learner too.
Yes, we read them. And learners help each other there. It feels like a very nice corner of the internet.
Thank you for spending this time with us. If English has felt too far away, too formal, or too heavy, you can begin again in a smaller way.
You are not the only one. And you do not need perfect conditions.
We are glad you are here. Quiet progress is still progress.
Next time, we will bring more real English for real life.
Take care, keep your tiny promise, and we will talk again soon.
Bye.
Bye.